Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, episode number
52.
Yes, and that voice that you hear is the great co-host Megan Hibbard. You're back.
Yes.
You came back.
I did come back.
But something happened that made you be gone. What happened?
Yeah, so I had a little baby.
Yeah, you had a little baby.
Yep, Logan Scott. He was born on March 17th.
March 17th.
It's St. Patrick's Day baby.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 1:21 p.m.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So is he going to get a lot of green stuff every birthday?
I guess. I don't know. It's funny. I kept saying, well, our original due date was 21st, and then it got bumped up to the 15th. And I really didn't want a St. Patrick's Day baby. It's like July 4th. You know, you're born on July 4th, and you like everyone. Yeah. It's not really, I don't know. But if your birthday's on July 4th, that's great for you. But, but that it happened, of course.
That's awesome. So when I was a kid, this is totally off topic to kick off the podcast episode, but when has that ever stopped us?
Yeah.
I got this pair of green jeans when I was a kid, and my older brothers bullied me. So I need to go to therapy. This is therapy. And they named me Green Boy.
Green Boy.
And they told me that I was born on March 17th, and they kept throwing birthday parties for me on March 17th.
Gosh.
It was awesome, but I love those jeans.
Not giving me hope for him.
They were awesome. But he's not wearing green jeans, so that's good.
No, he's not.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you back.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, Megan has a picture to show. Look at that. There's a great picture. For those of you who are listening, your drive time, you're listening to the podcast. He's the smiliest, happiest little boy, and he's there with his mama. He's so pumped, and he looks a lot like his daddy, Jordan, so that's awesome. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Firstborn son, get fired up.
So
Nothing like it.
Yep.
And so tell everybody what we're talking about in episode number 52.
Yes, so today we're talking about disability. So our question for today is, it says, I love what you teach, but I find it very difficult to apply all the knowledge because I'm disabled. Because of this, I'm limited on how much I'm allowed to save or invest. Could you help me with some practical steps to begin winning with money while on disability?
And this is a huge topic. In fact, I've met so many people while I've been on the road the last, since 2002 when I really started teaching this stuff. And this is one of the biggest challenges people have is when they are disabled and they're limited on what they're able to save and put away, and their income is greatly limited. How do you win? And so today, we're going to attempt to tackle this difficult, unbelievable topic. But first, it's that great time.
Yes.
Guess what time it is? Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the banking section of the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not Next Step page. This is where you'll find all of our favorite banks who offer the best interest rates and zero fees. Check it out today by visiting iwbnin.com, click on Next Steps, and then select Banking.
Awesome. And so I am so excited to be able to bring you this current money events section at the Money Tip Podcast. And we love to be right now relevant with all the information that we bring to everyone. And today, this week, as we release this podcast, we celebrate Independence Day. You know, we're talking about July 4th and everything. It's a day that signifies freedom in America, the opportunity to blow things up, set things on fire, to celebrate independence.
Great day.
That's a great day. And today I want to speak about how this is important to your money journey, this word freedom, that you have freedom to pursue the career you desire, freedom to start a business, freedom to travel. How awesome is that? Freedom to chase dreams. Isn't that great?
That is great.
That your son has that freedom. That's a wonderful thing. And my daughter, my son, my little daughter, they all have that as well. And doesn't it make sense that if we have freedom to chase all these dreams and things, that we should also have financial freedom? So my question to each of you listening to the podcast is, do you have that? Do you have financial freedom? You see, we teach this all the time, is how to have financial freedom. It starts with a budget. Get fired up and telling your money where to go. And it continues by actually following the budget. Isn't this hard?
Shocker.
Shocker. Yeah. And then making adjustments to accommodate all those crazy things that life will, not might, but will throw your way.
Right.
And it's achieved by persevering through all those challenges to achieve your fully funded life. And perseverance is a word that is highly underrated and not discussed a lot, but it is the ticket to financial freedom. It really is. And I want to talk about in this right now relevant information about this power of perseverance through a principle that I call the principle of 5 swings of an axe. Are you ready for this?
I feel like you should have an axe.
I'm going to swing an axe. I should have an axe.
Although that might be
I
dangerous
once
for me.
preached from stage with a giant axe. It was awesome. I preached on this principle. And I want you to swing your axe 5 times a day. Here's the principle of the 5 swings of an axe. If you have a big giant tree out in your front yard and you don't trust yourself with a chainsaw, but you have an axe and you need this tree to go. It keeps dropping limbs on you. It might be one of those sweet gum trees. You know the sweet gum?
It's a gumball tree.
A gumball tree. It drops those prehistoric looking weapon type seed balls, or it's got acorns or walnuts. Woo, that'll leave a mark. And you need that tree to leave, and you only have an axe. You might get fed up with this tree one day and go out with that axe and swing at it and swing and swing and swing and swing. And here in the South, where it's 7 billion degrees a lot of times,
You probably pass out.
what's going to fall down first, the tree or you?
You
Are, right? And so here's the issue. You're going to have probably blisters on your hand, those ones that are broke open with sweat in it, stinging. And it's going to be such a negative, awful experience that you're going to walk past that tree every day thereafter. It's still standing, still dropping stuff on you. And you're going to remember every time how horrible of an experience that was. And even though the tree has marks on it where you tried, you're not going to make progress. And the principle of 5 swings of an axe is to, how about we approach difficult problems another way? What if instead of just going at it and trying to get it all done in a day, why don't you just every morning when you walk out, just pick up that axe and swing it 5 solid times. Set it down and go about the rest of your day. The next morning, do it again.
Yeah.
The next morning, do it again. Not 6 swings, not, hey, I feel great, I'm going to do 15 swings, just 5 swings. Because the question then is not if the tree will fall down. Guess what the question is?
When.
That's right. When is it going to fall down? Because it's going to fall down. And that, my friends, is the power of perseverance, is that you don't try to accomplish everything all at once. Many of us get so enthusiastic about financial freedom and debt freedom, so we run out and we cut off everything. We're not going out to eat anymore. We're going to live on beans and rice, and we're going to spend no money on groceries. We cut off cable. We borrow our neighbor's internet, without their permission, so it could be stealing. Anyhow, and as a result, we end up cutting all the fun out of our life, all the joy out of our life. Our kids don't get to eat. No one's happy. Everybody's hangry, and you give up on it after a month. And it takes longer than a month to get debt-free for most people.
Right.
And as a result, it's the equivalent of picking up the axe and trying to do it all at once. And so today, I want you to think about how you can employ this principle of 5 swings of an axe in this right now relevant current money event tip. How could you do that in your life? And so I want to give you 6 real fast tips. Think about it. Hey, make the phone call today to lower your interest rate on your credit card. Just do it. Or go to the 0% balance transfer credit card link on our website at iwbnin.com. You could apply that in 15 minutes and be done with it. Here's the second one. Visit schwab.com and open your Roth IRA account. And just set up automatic contribution. Just do it. That don't take more than 10 minutes. You can do it. Visit your human resources department. You're probably listening to this on your way to work. And go to HR when you get to work and set up your automatic contribution in your 401k. Or better yet, skip the HR department. Just log into your account and set it up. Hey, and maybe you're already contributing your 401k, but you're only contributing enough to get the match. Why not open up the account today, you log into it, and increase it by 1% or 2%? Go do it. It's simple. That simple swing of an axe 5 times a day. The 5th thing is maybe you could make giving a habit by automating your giving to causes you really want to support, like your church, the American Red Cross, your YMCA, or other causes that you really are passionate about. You could just make it. It's one of the things you say you're passionate about. Set it up. Make that swing of the axe today. But here's what I know. If you swing the axe daily, it won't be a matter of if you're going to achieve financial freedom. It's only going to be a matter of when.
Yeah.
And so here's to your freedom, to American freedom, to all the countries that experience freedom and the citizens that have freedom. Here's your hat off to chasing those dreams and making sure that you have financial freedom along the way to do it. You can do it. Get fired up.
Okay, so next we're going to share our success story, and today it comes from Brian and Stephanie, and it says, "I just wanted to drop you a quick email and brag on how well you taught us last Friday. We reached our savings goal." That's awesome. Yeah. So already that's one thing. We've completed rung 5, so they're talking about the I Was Broke Now I'm Not ladder, so we'll include a link to that. So we completed rung 5, and since we've already been participating in our 401k match, we'll now be focusing on rung 7. Watch out, credit card debt. We're coming for you. I can't tell you how great it feels to have accomplished this goal. It's incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. I know you understand exactly how it feels. It's allowed us to believe in ourselves again and to know that we have the skills and discipline to be responsible with the money the Lord has let us use. We haven't had any cash savings in a zillion years. It's a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's a long time.
Technical term.
They're older than Methuselah. That's awesome.
It feels really good. Plus, we're able to put away a big chunk into savings each month. So we're excited about how fast our credit card debt will get paid off. We are fired up. Bless you, Joe, and your whole team, Brian and Stephanie.
That's a great one. And so a couple things, a couple of things to celebrate. Number one, good job climbing the ladder. Good job understanding the rungs. You can download your free copy at iwbnin.com/ladder. And of course, we'll include that in the show notes. Number two, it does feel really good when you finally make a decision, a positive financial decision. You get to experience the benefit of that, having cash savings in the bank, being able to invest more. You see hope that your dream can get funded.
Right.
And the Bible says that hope deferred makes a heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is soothing to the soul. And that's what's happened to Brian and Stephanie. The one tweak that I would offer Brian and Stephanie is they've skipped a rung. So their credit card debt is rung 4, and they're already up there on rung 5, past 6, and on to 7.
Right.
So I would encourage Brian and Stephanie right now, use any and all extra money to make that credit card debt just leave your life as soon as possible. Make sure you roll it over with a 0% balance transfer so you're paying no interest, and you will be at rung number 9, living that fully funded life before you know it. Way to go, Brian and Stephanie. Hey, listen, this podcast is fueled and powered by your great success stories. We want to hear from you on your success story as well. And that's why we share each person's success story to give you inspiration in your own journey. So get fired up.
Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to dive into the question. So just to remind you guys of our question for today, we're talking about disability. So the question is, I love what you teach, but I find it very difficult to apply all the knowledge because I'm disabled. Because of this, I'm limited on how much I'm allowed to save or invest. Could you help me with some practical steps to begin winning with money while on disability?
Now, I do admit that disability is a mega issue. It cannot be completely and comprehensively addressed in a 20-minute drive time podcast.
Right.
I'm going to do my best to make sense of it. If you are not disabled, there's a good chance you know someone who has been disabled for 90 days or longer. And so hopefully you can direct them to this podcast as well. But I do want to speak right now. If you're listening to this podcast and you are employed now and not disabled, you need disability insurance, especially long-term disability. Why? Because if you're on rung 5 or rung 6, you already have that 3 months or more of savings. And so you can cover a short-term disabled issue. But the long term, well, that's another issue. And so you are 3 to 4 times more likely to be disabled for 90 days or longer than to die before the age of 65. Wow. That's a proven fact. And many of us know people who have been disabled, many of them permanently disabled. My father-in-law has been disabled. He got injured on the job, had multiple surgeries, just could not return to his work as a carpenter. And as a result, they were able to still prosper because they had long-term disability insurance. And I want to tell each of you that are listening, your employer probably has this available. I know at I Was Broke Now I'm Not, we provide it for our employees. And you need to know whether or not it's provided or whether you have to pay for it. You want to make sure that you're covered because it's more than just your life, especially if you're married or you have kids. It's those that are dependent upon your income that is at risk. And you can easily cover it. And unless you're a professional skydiver or bullfighter, the chances are it's really cheap.
Yeah.
So very important. So the second thing I wanted to share with you is if you are, or someone you know is disabled, I want you to understand a couple things about disability insurance. Now, if you have long-term disability insurance through your workplace, that is private disability insurance. That insurance will pay you until you're able to return to your occupation. There's any occupation disability insurance, but most of it is own occupation disability insurance. And do you know the difference of that, Megan?
No.
So the difference is any occupation.
Oh, wait, let me see. Okay. So any occupation is you could go back, or I'll say the difference. One is you could go back and get a job. One is you could not get any job.
That's
Is that
right.
Okay.
So any occupation is once you're able to go back and get any job, your disability insurance will stop.
Yeah.
But if it's own occupation, it will pay you until you're able to return to your regular occupation or similar income level. So that's super important to understand. However, many people are moved into one of two types of Social Security disability insurance. Most private insurance companies eventually will try to get people moved to Social Security to limit their own liability.
Sure.
And of course, if they're on the hook for it, they need to pay you, that private insurer. However, Social Security has two programs. One of them is called SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. The other one is called SSI, and that is Supplemental Security Insurance. They are two distinct and separate disability benefit programs, both of them administered by the Social Security Administration. And there are important distinctions between those two programs. Individuals who apply for Social Security disability are able to do so because of their record of work activity has allowed them to become, quote, insured for SSDI, that Social Security disability insurance. And because it is this type of benefit, if a person has assets, it doesn't have anything to do with their eligibility to receive benefits. In other words, whether you have $50 or $50,000 or $500,000 in the bank, it makes no difference to Social Security Administration. So SSI disability, supplemental security disability, is different in this regard because it is a need-based program, and it means that that person has not paid enough into Social Security or not gained enough credits. Maybe they've never paid any credits at all, and so it is a need-based program. So if that's the case, then it matters how many resources a person has. And their resources or assets are taken into consideration. And currently, to receive the supplemental security income disability, after being determined to be medically disabled according to Social Security Administration's rules, an individual, listen to this, cannot have more than $2,000 in accountable assets.
Wow.
And so what are countable assets to the Social Security Administration? Well, it's easier to define what these are by pointing out what they are not. So countable assets do not include the house you live in, and they don't include one primary automobile, okay? However, additional real estate other than your primary residence is counted, and so could additional automobiles. All cash, money in bank accounts, savings, all of that stuff is counted towards the resource limit. So to answer the question, if you had no other countable resources, you can have up to $2,000 in the bank or $3,000 if you're a couple and still be eligible for the SSI, but not $1 more. If you have $1 more than that, it will affect your benefits. Yeah. And that matters a lot. And so the house you live in, one vehicle, a life insurance policy, a burial plot, a burial fund, household goods or personal effects, property used in trade or business. So if you're trying to start a business to get out of disability so you can begin to prosper, or money and property set up under a plan to achieve self-support. So I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. But if you are limited, right now you're on SSI, I just want to tell you quite succinctly, you will not prosper financially while on SSI. The program is designed to give you a basic living amount of money so that you can eat and have a place to live, but it is not designed for you to live in a fully funded life.
Right.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And that's a grave challenge. And so what do you do if you are disabled and you've never paid in Social Security and you're limited? And so one of the greatest things I would challenge you to do is to ask yourself the question, Is there another line of work that you are able to perform and that you are not disabled from being able to complete? So many people may have a physical disability. I know that many people are limited on how many hours they can stand. They're limited on how many pounds they can lift. They might be limited on the number of hours they can work a day. And they're truly disabled. So is there a way they could produce income where they are actually able to prosper, without being able to have those number of hours on their feet, or it allows them to go around that, where they can use their mind to produce income? And there's a lot of jobs where it's not physically active, but people use their minds.
Oh, yeah.
And so here's the question. Can you start working and try to move towards that type of income without affecting your benefits? Because a lot of people feel stuck. They can't produce more income, or else their benefits get cut, so they don't even try. And they've created programs that help people. One of them is, if you work while receiving disability payments, a couple ways is they have an ABLE savings account. So an ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience Act. And it limits eligibility to people with disabilities who had an onset of disability before they turned 26 years old. And it allows people to have special bank accounts where the funds don't count as assets or resources for the purpose of SSI benefits or for Medicaid. There's another program called PASS, and that stands for the Plan for Achieving Self-Support. And it's a work incentive that allows you to set aside money from your income or resources to pay for training, equipment, support services, and employment-related expenses that can lead to a job or higher income. And there's another program called Ticket to Work program. And Ticket to Work connects you with free employment services to help you decide if working is right for you, help you prepare to go to work or find a job, or maintain success for you while you are working. And if you choose to participate, you can receive services such as career counseling, vocational rehabilitation and job placement, and training from authorized Ticket to Work service providers such as employment networks or your state vocational rehabilitation agency. And that service provider you choose will serve an important part of your employment team that help you on your journey to achieve financial independence. Now, each of those three programs, ABLE, PASS, and Ticket to Work programs, I'm going to include links in the show notes so that you can click and read what the Social Security Administration shares about that, along with very helpful examples of other people who have utilized those to successfully escape from disability and begin to earn higher incomes and begin to live fully funded lives. And so one of the things I just want to encourage each of you, if you are disabled and you're on SSI and you're limited on how many resources you have available to you and what you're able to put away, don't let that define who you are right now. Seek to find ways to produce income that allows you to go around your disability, that allows you to begin to prosper in spite of the challenges that you face. You can do this. And I encourage you to check out the show notes and go through each of those stories, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find your own story in it. Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to add to that, Megan, or any questions that from what I've just shared?
Yeah, I think that's so much information. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, we're actually going to try. We've been talking about it for a really long time, but we're going to try to put all this in an ebook. So now I have you on the hook for it. You have to do it because I said it.
That's it. That's good. And we want to do that for
Yeah.
people. And of course, we're not going to charge anything for that book because we want to make sure people are able to dig out of the hole that they're in.
Yeah.
One of the things I did want to say that I didn't say earlier is if you do have enough credits and you do get SSDI, the Social Security Disability Insurance, it doesn't matter how many resources or what income you're getting from other sources. They only want to know the answer to one question. Are you truly disabled?
Yeah.
And if you are, you will get SSDI payments. All of the stuff with ABLE, PASS, and Ticket to Work programs are for people who are need-based SSI, supplemental security income. And in that case, no more than $2,000 of accountable assets or resources, $3,000 worth if you're a couple. And so I encourage you to check out the show notes. There'll be a lot of extra information there, and we really want to help you guys be able to prosper. If you know someone who is disabled, who's kind of down in the dumps and feels like they can never get ahead and why bother, hey, point them to this episode, and we love to answer their questions, of course, as always. And so tell everybody what our next episode is going to be about, and then tell everybody how they can get a hold of us.
Yeah, so our next episode, we're going to talk about insurance. So our question is going to be, insurance is so confusing. Can you provide me some guidelines to help me make good decisions when selecting policies?
Insurance, get fired up. It's going to be great.
Yep. So, and also, if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to others who could benefit. You could do this by quickly rating our podcast and leaving us a review. These ratings and reviews help us make our podcast better for our listeners. And don't forget, on the last Monday of the month, we're going to be answering your top money questions. So if you have a question you need answered, even if it's about disability, we can kind of come back to this. Feel free to email us at info@iwbnin.com, and it could be featured on the podcast. And also, like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you implemented one of our tips, make sure you share your success story with us by emailing it at info@iwbnin.com.
I'll finish with this. If you are not disabled right now, thank God for your health, and go check today to make sure you have long-term disability insurance. You need to do this. You owe it to yourself, to your family. No one chooses to be disabled, and no one who is disabled would choose it again. Those with long-term disability insurance are so glad they chose that. Make sure that you're in position to do the same for your family. And so until next time, go prosper. It's Monday. You're listening to the Monday Money Tip. I know you can't wait when you listen to it as soon as it releases on Monday. Go make one positive financial step today and swing that axe 5 times. And may you celebrate financial freedom. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.